Hey folks, welcome to Market Intraday Analysis by InTheMoneyStocks.com, your leaders in pure technical analysis, avoiding all that Wall Street hype. Today, Monday, June 8th, 2009. Well, we're seeing a nice little sell-off on Wall Street today. Not a big sell-off, but a solid one nonetheless, which is, in all fairness, long overdue according to our chief market strategist, myself, and a few others at this company here. We've been talking about how there have just been such an extension of a move that people have gotten overly bullish, and usually when that happens, it signals that there needs to be a little near-term pullback. Whether or not it's setting up for another little up move is up in the air. We'll have to analyze the charts tonight, and we'll release that to our premium subscribers in the Research Center videos this evening. But nonetheless, unbelievable move down after a following move up. And really, what I want to talk about today more than anything is a little bit of hits on various trend lines today. I want to talk trend line analysis, price pattern time. I also want to discuss the rest of this week and what the outlook could be. So let's get started. Number one, let's talk where the markets are. Right now, you have the Dow down about 107 points, NASDAQ down about 26 points, and the S&P 500 down about 11 points. Really about 1 to 1.5% across the board on the indexes, which is very minor. Considering how much we're up in the last 3 months, it's been a very minor move down, as we can see. Now, the beauty of today is I highlighted over last week's videos and even on the weekend video, folks, to you guys out there, many key levels. And one of the key levels that I highlighted was this 94.40 level that I said we needed to break and get below on a closing basis. So what I'm going to look for today is on a closing basis, are we below that? Number one, we did gap below it, and the beauty of this gap down, and by the way, these dotted lines are minor resistance levels, while the strong ones, the thick ones that are one same color, like yellow here, blue, and pink right here, and white, those are your major support lines and resistance lines. And what you can see here initially is we gapped lower, and we kind of sold that first candle off, closing down here. Once you close below this line and you didn't capture and go above this line here, meaning I usually look for the first indicator there on that first chart, but number one, the candle here closes below support right here. As soon as that happens, that's telling me we're going right to this 93.40 level in this, which is a major support area. And number one, what you see here initially is that the market goes right there. You get a bounce. You see the whippy candle here, green candle. That's telling you there's a bounce. Absolutely perfect scalping opportunity for those of us in the chat room today. And then the next time it comes back down, it takes it out. Now notice how the secondary move down here goes right to this support at around 93.20. Now many of you may wonder where that support comes from, and it comes right from here. See this little pivot high right here going into the close right here as well? This little pivot high is exactly what that minor support is right now that we hit into right below this white line. All right, and the white line obviously mirrors here, and it goes, I mean, the white line goes for really quite far back, but the minor levels are more of interest to me because they're from a shorter distance ago. So you can see how we bounce right off of that, and what you're looking for on this candle is confirmation at this point. What I mean by confirmation is when you see a candle that sells off and closes below a key support like 93.40, you want to see, do you confirm that candle? Do you confirm the breakdown? And what you need for that to happen is a secondary close below. And this is just common technicals that we teach our traders in the chat room, in the research center. You have to watch for this stuff. And as you can see, the next candle rebounds and moves back up, and you never get a close lower than this point. So you actually do not confirm that breakdown. In fact, you rally all the way back up. And that tells me as soon as you see a green candle that we could burst higher, and that's exactly what we do. And you can see the market rebounding all the way up. Where does it go? To minor resistance right up here at 93.80. And you may wonder, well, where does that 93.80 come from? Well, just take a look back. The pivot low from Friday right here, and then the pivot from right here. So very clearly, I mean, it's as clear as a bell that the levels can be found very easily by understanding and analyzing the charts. And that's our job, folks. That's your job out there to learn. That's my job to teach and learn more on as well. So you have the market moving up here. What do you have here? Nice little topping tail, some few tails starting to form. That's generally telling you there's some weakness there as well. There was a chance that we could go touch the 20 moving average. We do not do that. In fact, you start to pull back, then you rebound up, retest that level again, and still you cannot get through the 93.75, 93.80 level right here. All right, and that's telling us that if we ever do retrace back up there, that's going to be resistance again, although not quite as strong the second time around, as we already hammered on it. So again, you test it, then you start to sell. Nice engulfing candle, not a true engulfing candle, but very, very close. A nice reversal candle, I would say, as you see a big green candle and then just as big, even if a little bigger red candle to the reverse. Right back to that 93.40 level right here, this white line, again being a key level. You close slightly below it, and again, we want to look for confirmation. You need a second close below this line. And the next candle, you're below it, but you close back green, so we don't have confirmation there. The next candle retests this 93.40 level and then again sells off, and this time we actually get a close lower than this point. See this low here, you had to get the second close down there, and at that point you look for double bottom move, and it's exactly what happens, folks. You see the sell, then the sell to double bottom. In fact, you make a new low right down here, and then at that point, notice how you close all the way back up, and you don't actually close below that line. Now, if we had closed, we would have looked for a second confirmation candle. That obviously didn't happen. You didn't even close below it, but you closed right on double bottom support. See this low? And how the closing of this candle closes right at that exact low? That's telling you there's a possibility of a bounce, especially when you have a little bit of a tail there. It's not a bottoming tail by any stretch, but nonetheless, the signals here, when it's able to hold the double bottom, are telling us there's a high probability of a move coming to the upside. What happens? The market starts to rebound higher, retests down here a little bit, rebounds again, closes up. Then you have a pause candle, and then push. Where are you into right now? First hit of the 20 moving average plus your 93.40 level again. So you see how key this 93.40 level is, guys. And I've had these charts. For those of you that are part of the research center at night, you guys really understand how far back these lines go. I've had literally these lines on my charts for weeks and weeks. We've been following them closely, and they've really been a key indicator about telling us where this market's going to go. Whether or not we were in this trading range up here, and now we broke, so we test this lower level, and this is really the big one to go. All right. Now, again, just notice how you're also coming into the 20 moving average here. So there is a good amount of resistance right here. If that closes above, it actually would let us possibly trade as high as back to 93.75, 93.80, all the way back up here. So watch this current candle. Again, resistance right here at 93.40 of 20 moving average and white trend line resistance. So there's a good amount of resistance. If it does happen to take it out here on the light volume this afternoon, and by the way, that's one thing you have to remember. Mondays and Fridays are light volume. Today, again, light volume. There's no economic news. There's not a lot of speculation. There's a little bit of talk about the TARP money getting repaid by financial companies like Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, and some of the other players. But for the most part, the big thing here today is that there's just not a lot of news out there. The dollar is stronger again. That takes its toll on the market because it takes its toll on metals and commodities like